Welcome back to our viewers. Have you ever experienced that palpable sense of being on the brink of a monumental shift, a moment that could irrevocably alter the financial landscape you inhabit? It's the feeling of possessing a crucial key, one capable of unlocking a vast, yet currently sealed, chamber of economic possibility. We understand that suspenseful anticipation, particularly in light of recent events that have sent waves of excitement through the Iraqi Dinar community. Today, the conversation surrounding the dinar has reached a fever pitch, ignited by a significant revelation from the closely watched figure. Frank26, this latest commentary is being widely discussed, generating a mixture of surprise, optimism, and intense speculation among longtime observers of the Iraqi economic situation. The core of this new insight involves an unprecedented synthesis of three major, long-standing topics: the long-awaited hydrocarbon law, HCL, the prospective revaluation of the Iraqi Dinar RV, and the shadowy realm of so-called contract rates. Frank26's presentation of these elements suggests a level of coordinated preparation that many in the community believe signals a proximity to major change unlike anything seen before. The sheer fact that high-level global institutions, discussions of currency adjustments, and the intricacies of these specialized contract rates are all being referenced within a single narrative is a development that cannot be casually dismissed. These are complex components of international finance, and their simultaneous mention elevates the seriousness of the current dialogue. We encourage all of you to remain focused on this information, as the implications of what Frank26 has shared could fundamentally reframe the way you perceive the future trajectory of the dinar. Frank26's perspective holds considerable weight within this community, primarily due to his dedicated multi-year tracking of developments concerning the Iraqi dinar. This time, he drew attention back to a potent statement he made in the past, a declaration that has always served as a benchmark for many dinar holders, that the day the hydrocarbon law is implemented is the same day the new, adjusted exchange rate would appear almost instantaneously. Within a matter of nanoseconds, this specific reintroduction of his past statement has single-handedly caused a significant reaction across the community, prompting deep consideration of its meaning. The reason this particular statement has resonated so powerfully lies in the symbolic and practical significance of the hydrocarbon law itself. The HCL is much more than a mere piece of legislation. It is widely viewed as the essential mechanism for Iraq to finally and equitably manage its immense oil wealth across all its constituent regions. Oil remains the foundational element of Iraq's economy, and the establishment of a fair and transparent system for distributing oil revenues is seen as a prerequisite for creating a much stronger and more stable national currency. Frank26 is now specifically connecting the successful and official implementation of this law directly to the dinar's revaluation, positing that the currency's value will be compelled to rise once the HCL is officially enacted, potentially taking effect within moments of its formal announcement. It is a bold assertion about the direct causality between legislation and currency value, and it is undoubtedly drawing significant attention from stakeholders globally. To fully grasp the magnitude of this alleged connection, it is essential to understand the essence of the hydrocarbon law. Iraq possesses some of the most substantial confirmed oil reserves anywhere in the world. For an extensive period, the management and distribution of the resulting revenues have been a contentious point, often leading to deep-seated tensions, ongoing disputes, and significant delays in national progress between the federal government and regional administrations. The fundamental objective of the HCL is to rectify this historical imbalance by establishing an equitable, standardized framework for dividing oil profits, thereby ensuring that every geographic and administrative area within Iraq genuinely benefits from the nation's primary resource. The successful execution of this law is thus seen as a critical step toward national unity and economic modernization. Consider the profound systemic changes that would necessarily follow the implementation of such a comprehensive law. A finalized HCL would compel Iraq to dramatically overhaul and modernize its entire financial infrastructure. This includes, by necessity, a major adjustment to the value of the dinar. Such an adjustment would be required to enable the national currency to effectively manage the enormous volume of transactions related to the country's oil trade and to facilitate more seamless and robust global commerce. This foundational need for a stable, higher value currency to handle oil wealth is the precise reason Frank26 maintains that the HCL is inextricably linked to the revaluation. The logic, as presented, suggests a cause and effect relationship. If the legislative and financial door of the HCL opens, the exchange rate door must, by economic necessity, swing wide open immediately thereafter. The current discussion takes an even more compelling turn, with Frank26's claims regarding global institutional recognition. According to his reports, various international financial bodies are now reportedly acknowledging what has been a central tenet of the dinar community's hopes: explicit confirmation that Iraq is actively preparing for a significant currency adjustment. The weight carried by these specific words cannot be overstated. Global financial institutions operate on the basis of verified facts, established policies, and confirmed hard data, not on conjecture or rumors. If organizations of that international stature are indeed conceding that a currency adjustment is imminent, it introduces an entirely new level of gravity and validation to this ongoing conversation. This shift suggests a move away from being purely a community of hopeful speculators towards a development that is gaining recognition at the highest echelons of global finance, indicating Iraq's definitive shift in economic policy. This high-level acknowledgement, if accurate, significantly reinforces the substance and the power of Frank26's message. We must now address the often discussed and highly mysterious concept of contract rates. For many years, those holding the dinar have heard persistent whispers and rumors about these contract rates, which are allegedly special, private exchange rates that would be made available only to a select group of entities or individuals. According to the latest update from Frank26, these contract rates are no longer merely speculative rumors. He claims they are now actively being disclosed to chosen institutions and potentially even to specific, vetted private individuals. This suggested transition from rumor to reality is a major point of discussion within the community. So, what precisely are these contract rates understood to be? They are often described as being special, pre-negotiated exchange rates, significantly higher than the publicly announced rate, and typically reserved for very large-scale financial actions. These transactions could involve massive government-to-government deals, major international trade agreements, or substantial humanitarian and development projects. The critical factor to remember is the exclusivity. It is widely believed that these rates would not be accessible to the general public. However, the very fact that these discussions are reportedly occurring at such elevated institutional levels strongly indicates that substantial, coordinated actions are unfolding discreetly behind the scenes of international finance. Many in the dinar community speculate that these contract rates might be set aside for specific demographics, such as those holding extremely large quantities of dinar, veteran long-term investors in the Iraqi economy, or those involved in funding significant humanitarian endeavors. However, it is imperative to state clearly that no one outside of those high-level circles has verifiable, definitive information on how or to whom access to these rates would be granted. Nonetheless, the mere idea that these contract rates are verifiably in existence and actively being discussed points directly to a very real and serious preparation taking place on the institutional side. These are no longer described as informal or speculative conversations. They are reported to be structured, tangible deals actively being negotiated and discussed, which is a key source of the community's current high state of energy and anticipation. If these reports prove true, it strongly suggests that defined mechanisms are already being put in place to manage different pathways of exchange when the revaluation is formally initiated. This tiered exchange possibility adds another layer of complexity to the overall financial event being discussed. To gain perspective, we should step back and consider the broader context of Iraq's recent economic development. In recent years, Iraq has made very deliberate and significant efforts to modernize its entire financial system. The Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, has been proactively implementing new digital technologies, systematically tightening financial regulations, aggressively working to combat financial corruption, and comprehensively upgrading its national security and banking infrastructure. All of this intensive work is understood to be proceeding under the expert guidance and supervision of international financial advisors. It is worth pausing to consider the fundamental question: would Iraq dedicate such immense effort, time, and resources to fundamentally overhaul and modernize its banking infrastructure if it were not in active preparation for a financial event of great magnitude? This modernization effort is not simply about addressing pre-existing systemic flaws. Crucially, it is about bringing Iraq's financial framework into alignment with established international banking standards. This exact alignment is an absolute necessity if the nation is indeed preparing to introduce the dinar onto the global stage at a significantly higher, more stable exchange rate. Given this context, what is the meaning of Frank26's commentary on the actual timing of the revaluation? In the current era of digital finance, exchange rates worldwide can be updated and disseminated across global networks in a matter of seconds, once an official government decision is made and activated. This capability is fundamentally different from the slower, paper-based financial systems of the past, which inevitably introduced substantial delays. With modern banking systems fully in place, a new exchange rate could theoretically go live and be globally recognized within moments. This is the technical basis for Frank26's assertion that the revaluation could appear virtually instantaneously once Iraq officially makes the move to activate the change. However, the speed of the technical transition should not be mistaken for the simplicity of the entire process for the end user. Even if the underlying technical update is instantaneous, individual banks across the world will still require time to fully integrate the new rate into their internal systems, formally notify their customers of the change, and roll out the necessary exchange procedures. This means that for the typical dinar holder, the period between the official announcement and the ability to physically walk into a bank and complete an exchange at the new rate might still involve a delay of days or possibly weeks. This distinction between instantaneous technical change and the slower banking implementation process is a crucial factor for everyone to keep in mind. For those who currently hold the dinar, the immediate question becomes a practical one. What steps are prudent to take right now? First and foremost, securing your dinar holdings and ensuring you have meticulous, clear documentation of ownership and authenticity is paramount. Should a revaluation occur, banks will rigorously require irrefutable proof of both the authenticity of the currency and legal ownership. Secondly, it is vital to remain informed, but to maintain a high degree of caution. While updates like those from Frank26 are valuable components of the ongoing discussion, it is absolutely essential to cross-reference all information with multiple, diverse sources and maintain a consistently balanced and measured perspective. Thirdly, developing a comprehensive and personal exchange strategy is a wise preparation. Some holders may plan to liquidate their entire dinar holdings in one transaction, while others might prefer a more measured approach, exchanging in planned stages over time. Different banking institutions may offer a variety of options and procedures, and having a well-thought-out plan firmly in place before the anticipated event occurs can be a tremendous asset when emotions are likely to be elevated. It is also highly advisable to ground expectations in a realistic assessment of the situation. Currency reevaluations are, by their nature, some of the most intricate and complex financial events a nation can undertake. Even with Iraq's high level of preparation, there remains the potential for unforeseen delays caused by political dynamics, shifts in global markets, or regional geopolitical issues. The pathway to a revaluation is rarely a perfectly straight line, yet, despite the complexities and potential delays, the consensus is that the indicators now are stronger than they have been in many years. The combination of global financial acknowledgement, the intensive modernization of the banking sector, the documented progress on the hydrocarbon law, and the current discussions around contract rates all coalesce to suggest that Iraq is moving ever closer to the significant economic transition that many have been anticipating. The narrative is shifting from a speculative if to a more definite when in the community's discourse. Let's delve a little deeper into the true meaning of this reported global confirmation. When international organizations formally acknowledge that Iraq is actively planning for a major currency adjustment, it serves to significantly validate the entire ongoing narrative. It signifies that the world's integrated financial system is not merely passively aware of this possibility, but is actively making its own necessary preparations for the impending change. For the individual dinar holder, this means that the speculation that has been ongoing for years is now reportedly transcending mere internal community whispers and is attracting concrete, real-world attention from the highest financial authorities. While this does not guarantee a specific outcome or timeline, it unequivocally means that the door to this possibility is opening wider than ever before. Historically, when the global financial stage becomes heavily involved in a national currency development, the process can accelerate rapidly. So, as a diligent observer, what specific signs should you be actively monitoring in the coming weeks and months? Number 1. Keep a vigilant watch on any official pronouncements regarding the hydrocarbon law. If Iraq formally finalizes and enacts this legislation, it is considered a major and unmistakable green light by many. Number 2. Pay close attention to all official statements released by the Central Bank of Iraq, particularly those addressing its exchange rate policies and monetary plans. Number 3. Look for any new and significant agreements or formal partnerships established between Iraq and prominent international financial institutions. Finally, keep an ear out for how major commercial banks globally are openly discussing or treating the dinar. Visible preparations in their operations could serve as a solid indicator that change is imminent. It is crucial to remember that even a figure like Frank26 openly acknowledges he does not possess infallible foresight. No single person knows the exact timing, not even those reportedly closest to the inner workings. What he brings to the table is years of dedicated experience in meticulously gathering disparate pieces of information and attempting to construct a coherent, overarching picture. This is the primary reason why so many in the dinar community rely on his insights. However, the wise approach is always to rigorously balance this inherent optimism with a realistic assessment of the financial and political complexity. Utilize his updates as one component of a broader, well-rounded research strategy, not as the sole source of definitive truth. This balanced approach is the only way to remain hopeful without becoming financially reckless. Patience remains a defining theme in the history of the dinar community. Over the years, this journey has been characterized by numerous peaks and troughs. Specific dates have been repeatedly speculated upon, hopes have frequently soared to great heights, and at times, subsequent disappointment has inevitably followed. Nevertheless, every single forward step taken by Iraq contributes to strengthening the underlying foundation. The Republic of Iraq today is substantially different from the nation it was a decade ago. Its national economy, its physical infrastructure, and its overall standing in the international community have all undergone considerable and positive growth. It is this fundamental growth that is seen as making the prospect of a revaluation more economically feasible and likely now than at any point in the past. Patience in this context does not imply passive inaction. It means maintaining a state of continuous, active preparation and readiness so that when the specific moment arrives, one can act both quickly and judiciously. A further critical consideration extends beyond the actual moment of the exchange. Many dinar holders understandably focus all their attention on the logistics of the exchange itself, but what comes next is of equal, if not greater, importance. How will any potential new wealth be managed responsibly? What strategies will be employed to protect it, to grow it sustainably, and ultimately, to utilize it to meaningfully improve your life and the lives of those around you? These represent the deeper, more profound questions that are essential to ponder now, well in advance of the event. Because when emotions are running high and financial opportunities present themselves rapidly, individuals without a clear, predetermined plan are the most likely to make significant mistakes. Preparing both mentally and financially now ensures that you are ready for more than just the transaction. You are preparing for the entire future that this event could usher in. Let's circle back to what many consider the most recent shocking aspect of Frank26's update. The claim that contract rates are not only a theoretical concept, but are genuinely real and are already being revealed to selected groups. This information is a major development, suggesting that behind the visible economic curtain, Iraq and its international partners are already deep into the process of working out deals and planning for a range of financial scenarios. If these specialized, higher rates are indeed being prepared, it means the eventual standard public revaluation rate may represent only a portion of the entire story. While it is likely that access to these contract rates will be highly restricted, the sheer fact of their reported existence is widely interpreted as solid evidence of extremely serious, multi-level preparations, and this perception is making the revaluation itself feel more tangible and imminent than ever before. So, where does this synthesis of information leave us today? It places us squarely at a junction point of intense, cautious optimism. While we cannot credibly state that the revaluation is guaranteed to happen tomorrow, we can assert with increasing confidence that the essential groundwork is being laid with greater seriousness and coordination than at any preceding time. Iraq possesses the foundational oil wealth. The key legislation is reportedly in the final stages of completion. The national banking systems are undergoing extensive modernization. And most significantly, the world's financial community is closely observing the situation. Frank26's compelling update serves as a powerful reminder that this is not merely a communal fantasy. It is a complex economic process that is reportedly unfolding deliberately, step by measurable step. For those holding the dinar, the imperative remains to be perpetually ready, exceptionally well-informed, and solidly grounded in reality. As we bring today's report to a close, the overarching conclusion is clear. The economic story surrounding the Iraqi dinar is experiencing a significant surge in momentum. The simultaneous discussion of specialized contract rates, the reported confirmation from global financial bodies, and the direct connection to the foundational hydrocarbon law are all indicators pointing toward a singular direction. Major economic changes, while impossible to date with precision, may well be closer than many observers previously thought. Whether this culminates in days, weeks, or months, the collective signs strongly suggest that Iraq is moving decisively forward, and that the global stage is paying close attention to every development. The fundamental question, therefore, remains focused on preparedness. Are you ready? Are you prepared to act both quickly and judiciously when this anticipated opportunity finally materializes? We highly encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe the revaluation is finally on the horizon? What does your personal plan entail for the moment it occurs? Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Here at Dinar Daily, we pledge to continue bringing you the latest verified information as this complex and important story continues to unfold. Remain hopeful, remain smart, and always remember to stay informed.